मैम उसमें पर्टिकुलर से मेंशन नहीं कर।
Yes, Sabha, what you are saying?
मैम कौन सा पेपर ऑनलाइन होने वाला है और कौन सा ऑफलाइन है?
First will be on offline. What is your first paper?
Algebra.
Yes. Okay. Uh,
Thank you.
Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the lecture of Real Analysis 1. In the last lecture, we have proved a theorem which says that whenever we have f to be a monotonic function, then it is integrable on the given closed interval a to b. Monotonic, for proving the result is true for any monotonic function, we have started with monotonically increasing function, and we have proved the condition of integrability so that the function is proved to be integrable. The second one we have seen is whenever we have a bounded function having finite number of points of discontinuity on the given interval, then also the function is integrable. Is it okay? Then to prove this, what we have done actually, whatever the finite points of discontinuities we have, all those points are covered in non-overlapping subintervals. That is, we will mark the partition points around the point, around those discontinuity points, and whatever will be the partition will be as of this type, right? That is, if we have 2 points of discontinuity, 4 points are needed to mark or to enclose these points of discontinuities, right? So for 2 discontinuities, 4 points. Therefore, total we have how many intervals? 5 intervals, right? 4 intervals in between. Therefore, 5 subintervals will be created. On these 2 intervals containing the points of discontinuity, the function is discontinuous. But over the remaining subintervals, the function is continuous, right? If the function is continuous over the remaining subintervals, we can adjust the contribution to the difference UPF minus LPF by these subintervals to be less than epsilon by 2. Now what remains to show? The contribution made to the difference UPF minus LPF by these 2 subintervals containing the points of discontinuity to be less than epsilon by 2, so that finally we can combine the result to say that the contribution is epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2, which is epsilon, right? The next theorem we were proving is whenever we have a bounded function, integrable if the set of points of discontinuity has finite number of limit points. If I am saying the limit point exists and it is finite in number, therefore may I say the set itself contains infinite number of points, right? Again, the same logic we were using. Whatever the finite number of limit points we have, we will mark the points around the limit points. Okay. Here, suppose if we have 3 limit points, L1, L2, L3, then we will mark the points around these limit points. Say the partition points will be x0, x1 to say x7. Therefore, by 6 points, there are 7 subintervals. Out of 7 subintervals, what about the subintervals remaining? Actually, these subintervals will contain infinite points of discontinuity. Therefore, if the infinite points of discontinuities are enclosed in these neighborhoods, then how many points are remaining outside those subintervals? Finite. Correct now? Finite points of discontinuity. Already we have proved that if the function has finite points of discontinuity, then it is integrable. Therefore, one can arrange the contribution by the contribution to the difference UPF minus LPF by these subintervals can be less than epsilon by 2. Same logic as of the previous theorem. Here I have explained earlier. Okay. Therefore, just let me write the proof of this corresponding theorem. Okay. Statement we have written already. I am writing the proof now. Okay. Let me start with the set of points of discontinuity. Let the set of points of discontinuity of F have finite number of limit points, right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Finite number P I will say. finite number t of limit points. Okay. Again, what we were going to do? We were going to adjust the contribution by the difference. Contribution to the difference UPF minus LPF separately, right? For this purpose, what I will write, let capital M and small m be bounds of here. Okay. The limit points may be enclosed in T non-overlapping subintervals. Correct, no? Non-overlapping subintervals of closed interval AB, comma. Now what we will do? We will adjust the subinterval such that the length of the subinterval is less than by. Yes, can anyone guess? Because same we have done in the previous theorem. The sum of whose length less than epsilon upon 2 times m minus m. This is what we were going to adjust so that their total contribution is to what? UPF minus LPF, yes, is. What will be the contribution by these subintervals to this difference? We have to adjust. Actually, this is summation capital Mi minus small mi delta xi. Right now, here P subintervals containing limit points. Okay. Now, can I write this as less than or equals to mi minus mi is always less equal by m minus 1, that we know. Correct now? I will not repeat it again. M minus m is independent of the subintervals, therefore let me take it out. Summation delta xi. Now what is this summation delta xi we have adjusted? This is summation delta xi now. Sum of length of the subintervals. We have adjusted this to be less than m minus m I will write first. This m minus m as it is. This sum we have adjusted less than epsilon
by 2 capital M.
Very good. And therefore, what will be a total contribution? Epsilon by 2. And let me call it as statement number 1. Okay. These are the contribution made by the subintervals containing limit points. Now, what about the remaining subintervals? It will contain finite discontinuity points, no? Therefore, I will write only a finite number of points of discontinuity of F can be outside these subintervals. Correct, no? Because infinite points will enclose on those subintervals. Can be outside these subintervals. Okay, that is function have only finite number of points of discontinuity of closed interval AB excluding P subintervals. Because these P subintervals contains infinite points of discontinuity and the contribution we have discussed already. Therefore, outside this we have only finite number of points of discontinuity on, I should write, not on AB excluding P subintervals enclosing limit points. Is everyone getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Therefore, what can I do the contribution on these subintervals? Therefore, as in the previous theorem, the total contribution the total contribution to UPF minus LPF from these portions of closed interval AB can be made, may I say less than epsilon by 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Can be made less than epsilon by 2, correct? And let me call it as statement number 2. Okay, then let us combine. Thus, for such a partition, such a partition means which kind of partition? We have plotted no points around those limit points, correct? For such a partition P, what is the total contribution UPF minus LPF? May I say 1 epsilon by 2, 1 epsilon by 2, correct now?
Yes, ma'am.
This is from 1 and 2, which is equal to epsilon. Therefore, may I say the function is integrable. Is it okay? Any difficulty with the theorem? If you have, you can ask me.
No, ma'am.
Okay, now what we will do, previously we have solved some examples of checking the integrability of the given function by using either Darboux sum method or Riemann sum method, correct? Now one can use these theorems to check the integrability of the function. Right now, how many points we have proved till now? Every continuous function is integrable, correct now? Every continuous integrable, every monotonic is also integrable, right? What we have proved again?
Finite discontinuity.
Yes, finite points of discontinuity. This kind of function is also integrable. Again,
Integrable.
finite limit points of set of discontinuity is also integrable. Suppose I am giving you a function, say f of x equal to x squared on the interval say 2 to 5. Okay, and I ask you to check whether the function is integrable or not. You can decide whether the function is belonging to any one of the criteria. If it belongs to any one of the criteria, surely it is integrable. If it is not belonging to any one of the criteria, you have to go for the again that traditional methods, either using Darboux sums or the Riemann sum. Correct now? Can anyone tell me the nature of x squared? Whether it fits into any one of the criteria? Yes. Whether f of x equal to x square, whether it fits into any one of the criteria, whether it is continuous or monotonic. Yes, it is continuous. Very good. Is it monotonic also? Is it monotonic on this region of 2 to 5? Whether it is increasing or not, that you have to check something. X square, if I put the values 2, 3, 4, 5, say, whether the function values are increasing or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, therefore one can say this is monotonic also. Therefore, it fits into two criteria. Therefore, we can say that the function is, yes, the function is
Integrable.
Integrable.
Correct. Suppose I give you another example. G of x is equal to 2 on the region closed 1, open 2, 3, closed 2, closed 3. Can anyone tell me the nature of this kind of function? Is it whether again this fits into any one of the criteria that you have to check? Is it monotonic?
No, ma'am.
No? Why not? Can anyone tell me what will be a graph of this function? 1 to 2, 2. 2 to 3, 3. What is the
Constant
graph of the
function
two?
है parallel to x axis.
Very good. For which subinterval 1 to 2?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the value 2? Na? Therefore, is it like this? I'm not going to plot it for 2. It's just previous to 2. Then for 2 to 3, close to 2 to close to 3. The function value is 3, na?
Parallel to x axis.
Yes. What is the nature of my function? Step function it is.
Discontinuous.
Huh. Yes, it is discontinuous. How many points of discontinuity we have?
1 point.
1 point of discontinuity. Therefore, in which criteria it fits? Third? Correct, no? It fits
Third.
into the third criteria. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Someone has said something. No? Okay, this is a function having only 1 point of discontinuity. Therefore, it fits into third criteria. My question is whether it is monotonic as well. Function monotonic आहे का?
No, ma'am.
No? Right?
Function is not continuously increasing.
And there is no condition of the function to be continuous for monotonic increasing. Correct ना? Continuous
ma'am.
पाहिजे का मोनोटोनिकला? गरज नाही ना. तसं जर असतं तर मग समजा मोनोटोनिक होण्यासाठी कंटिन्युअस असावाच लागला असता, तो ऑलरेडी कंटिन्युअस इंटिग्रेबल आहे ना, मग आपण सेपरेटली पुन्हा मोनोटोनिक इंटिग्रेबल प्रूव्ह करायची गरज नव्हती. बरोबर ना म्हणजे?
Yes, ma'am.
हा, त्यामुळे मोनोटोनिक साठी कंटिन्युटी गरजेची नाही. इट कॅन बी मोनोटोनिक विदाउट कंटिन्युटी as well. Yes, anyone from the other students, whether the given function is monotonic or not? Yes, Sagar, I think you want to give the answer for this. Bounded increasing, how it can be the answer? My question is simply whether it is monotonic or not. What is the meaning of bounded increasing? Yes, any other students? Monotonic आहे का? दिलेला फंक्शन दिसतोय ना समोर?
नाही, ma'am.
का नाही आहे? मुंडे का नाही आहे? कन्फ्यूज झाले का?
1 to 2 मध्ये फंक्शन इज कॉन्स्टंट आहे आणि 2 to 3 कॉन्स्टंट आहे ना फंक्शन.
हा ना, मग म्हणूनच त्याला मोनोटोनिक म्हणतात ना. I think I have repeated the property of monotonic function. Suppose you have some points x naught less equal by x1 less equal by x2 and so on, less equal by some xn. What is the nature of your function? You are writing function values less equal, no? Whether you are
Yes,
writing
ma'am.
strictly less.
Monotonic
Less
आहे,
equal
ma'am.
लिहिताय ना?
Yes, ma'am.
मग इथून तर इथे या रेंज मध्ये व्हॅल्यूज इक्वल आहेत. इथं तो शिफ्ट होतो, करेक्ट ना? इथं तो शिफ्ट होतो, इथे इन्क्रीज होतो, इथे परत कॉन्स्टंट राहतो. काय प्रॉब्लेम आहे मग? दिस इज मोनोटोनिक इन्क्रीजिंग, नो डाउट, राइट?
Yes, ma'am.
It is not strictly increasing. I think you are getting confused with strictly increasing and monotonic increasing. This is not strictly increasing, because in strictly increasing function, as per your answer, as it is constant, it will not be strictly increasing, right? No, but this is monotonically increasing, means for some points it may remain constant, for some point it may increase again, for some point it may remain constant. Okay, generally whenever we were showing the graph of a monotonically function is of this kind we were showing, right? Now this is increasing, for some points it is constant, again increasing, again constant, like this. then it is monotonically increasing, but not strictly increasing. And what about strictly increasing? You can show like this, right now. Why always a straight line? This is a strictly increasing function. Okay, I hope you have understood the difference. Monotonically increasing, right? Now, looking at the function itself, if it fits into any one of these four criteria, we can directly guess the integrability without solving that function. Okay, let us go for one example in which we are not going to solve by any Darbox sum criteria or Riemann sum criteria. We were going to try to fit the given example into one of the four criteria we have discussed earlier. Okay, let me give an example. See, you have to look at this example very carefully. I am going to ask you some questions. The function is defined as f of x equals to a standard example. Many times it is asked in the exam also. And f of 0 is equals to 0. Show that the function defined is integrable. Is integrable. Now, looking at this nature of the function defined, we have to check whether it fits into any one of the criteria or not. And show that integration value is 2 by 3 as well. As it is asked us to find out the integration value, one may check, one may say that the function is integrable. But first we have to check integrability or not. Okay? Yes? Look at the function. This is 1 upon 2 raised to n. Let us try to evaluate the function. Let me put the value of n equal to 0. What will happen for n equal to 0? 1 upon 2 raised to 0 is 1. Na? And range will be 1 by 2 less than x less than 1 less than or equals to 1. Correct? And just substituting the value. For n equals to 1, this is 1 by 2. 1 upon 2 square, that is 4. Strictly less by x less equal by 1 by 2. Right? Then this is 1 by 1 by 2 square, that is 4, na? 1 by 4. For which region? 1 upon 2 cubes, strictly less by x less equal by 1 upon 2 square. Is that okay? And continue. What you have the value? It is 0 for x is equals to 0. Look at this and tell me the nature of function, whether it is monotonically increasing or decreasing. First question, whether it is bounded. Look at the function values and you have to answer whether it is bounded or not. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, the function is bounded. Very good. Function is obviously bounded. Now one has to check simply whether it is monotonically increasing or decreasing.
Monotonically increasing.
Monotonically
Increasing.
Very good, very good. Okay. Here let me just plot the points. For the sake of convenience, I'll write the some values in the decimal points also. This is 0.5 strictly less than x less than or equals to 1. 1 upon 2 square means is 0.25. Na? 0.25 strictly less than by x less than or equals to 0.5. And how much here it is? 1 by 8. 1 by 8 means it says 0.125. No? And so on. Okay. From 1 to 0.5, the value is 1. 0.5 to 0.25 to 0.5 is 1 by 2. So let me just mark the points here as 0.125. This is 0.25. Everyone is value something. Here it is, I will mark 0.5. Okay. And somewhere here it is 1 set. Similar values here 0.125, 0.25, 0.5, and here it is 1. Okay. What is the value between the range 1.5 to 1? It's 1, no? 0.5 to 1. This region, the value is 1. Okay. What's the next region? 0.25 to 0.5, the value is 0.5. 0.25 to 5, the value is 0.5. Is it okay? Next, one more. 1 by 4, this is 0.25. 0.25 is for 125 to 5. 0.25. And if you just go on proceeding towards 0, the values becomes lesser and lesser and like this. Is it okay? Therefore, looking at this function, as you increase the value of x, the function value also increases. Therefore, may I say this is monotonically increasing function. Monotonically increasing function. Is that okay? Whether the function continuous? Whether the function is continuous?
No, ma'am.
No, it is not continuous. Now you have to tell me how many points of discontinuity it will have. What is the first point of discontinuity? At 0.5, right? Here the function is discontinuous. Right? No. Then 0.25. Then 0.125 and also on. Right? Therefore here, may I say the points of discontinuity are yes, what are the points of discontinuity? 0 is the first point of discontinuity because our function is never going to meet to 0. Because of this nature, as n tends to infinity, f of 0 is defined to be 0. Therefore, the points of discontinuity starts with 0, then half, then 1 by 2 square, then 1 by 2 cube, and so on. How many points of discontinuity we have? I am saying and so on. No? 1 by 2 cube, 1 by 2 raised to 4, 2 raised to 5, and so on. All the points of discontinuity will get continued, right? Therefore, this is the points of discontinuity. Therefore, whether the points of whether it fits into one of the criteria, finite points of discontinuity, whether it is true, no. This function is monotonic, always integrable. Therefore, we were checking just other criteria, method second, you can say. Therefore, this function do not have any finite point of discontinuity, right? Can anyone tell me what are the number of limit points for this set? काय limit point या सेटचा 0, 1 by 2, 2.
0 to half. 0 1.
Yes. Huh?
0 and half.
Half कसा आहे limit point?
0 and 1.
May I say only one? 0? 0 will be the only one. Why 1 will not be the limit point? Because this set of discontinuities, 1 will be a limit point only if this neighborhood of 1, every neighborhood of 1 contains infinite points of discontinuity. Therefore, I put a neighborhood like this, there is no point of discontinuity, no? Correct now? Therefore, this one will not be the limit point. 0 is the only limit point. The points of discontinuity are, okay, and this set of discontinuity has only one limit point. Has only one limit point. Therefore, may I say it fits into the fourth criteria as well? Set of discontinuity has finite limit points. Correct? No. If you can use any one of the criteria here, I can write. Thus, the function is integrable because it is monotonically, na? You can write this as method 1. You can call it as method 2 also. Method 1, method 2. Two methods we have used, na? Method 1. And in method 2, what we were writing? The set of points of discontinuity has only one limit point. Therefore, the function is integrable. Okay. Now, what is the next point asked us to show? Limit the integrability value is, right? Sorry, I have muted myself. Is it okay? Now let us go for the integrability value. I will call this as next step. I will call to prove that. What we wanted to show? Integration 0 to 1 f dx is equals to 2 by 3. To show this, to prove this, so to find the integration, we were going to make the partition of this interval 0 to 1, or first we were going to write this interval 0 to 1 as, see, consider. Instead of considering 0 to 1, I will consider it as 1 upon 2 raised to n to 1. Why? Because if I take limit n tends to infinity, this 1 upon 2 raised to n will tend to 0, right? No? So initially I will consider integration 1 upon 1 upon 2 raised to n to 1. Okay. Later I will divide this integration as per these points over which the function is defined. That is 1 to 1 by 2, 1 by 2 to 1 by 2 square, 1 by 2 square to 1 by 2 cube. Okay. Why? Because we know this result of integration. No, integration a to b is equals to integration a to c plus c to b. Therefore, here also we will make use of Hello students,
Yes.
I think there is some network issue. Let me just try to share the screen again. Today there are a lot of fluctuations in the internet. We'll wait for a few minutes because I'm unable to share my screen. It's not showing. I think you have you seen the proof I have started for finding the value of integration? ऐकलं का ते मगाशीचं पॉइंट का नाही? थोडंसं ऐकलं. थोडं वेट करायला लागेल आपल्याला, स्क्रीन शेअर होत नाही.